My name is Rebecca Rest-Savage. I'm studying political science and sociology with minors in international development and global women's studies. As I was listening to the story of the election, I was thinking about how we as Americans have a somewhat notorious tendency to kind of excuse things in presidents we agree with, that we vilify in presidents we disagree with. And as much as I love and cheer the stories of the women who helped President Sirleaf get elected, do you think that it impugned in any way Liberia's reputation for a state with free and fair elections?
Oh, you mean the whole idea that they were crooked and they played dirty? Yeah. I mean, I think that, but no. Wait. Let me back up. It's like having your question was phrased very complicatedly. I'd love to look inside your brain. Italians always take this more circuitous route around like. I think that what they, the only time I've really gotten that question has been in the United States when I talk about the crooked stuff that the women did. Because Liberia is a free-for-all. You know, the stuff the men are doing is like so far away from what those women did that if you're gonna bring really, really pure standards of I'm gonna be, you know, completely above it, you're never gonna win. You don't have a chance. You have zero. There's no real, this is a country that didn't have much rule of law, there's no government institutions, you know, something happens to you, you can't really take it to court, you can't really depend on the police to prosecute a case, there's so little there that's still being built up as far as institutions are concerned. And so it's great in theory to think these are laws that, you know, we're gonna abide by, but in the reality, if that was the case, George Weah would have won back in 2005. And so in Liberia, I mean, there are plenty of people in Liberia who can't stand Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. And so that, you know, that goes without saying. But in Liberia, you don't, but the reason for not being able to stand her isn't because those women stole their sons' voter ID cards. It's because that's a sort of drop in the huge bucket of what a lot of the men were doing.
Thank you.
Hi there, my name is Andrew Ree. I'm a film major, and I'm actually from the DC area.
Oh, cool.
But one of the things I thought was really interesting, I was doing a little bit of research just about the topic, is that if I read this right, that Sirleaf was recently sort of ousted from her party from claims that she supported the opposite party candidate, who then I then found was George Weah.
Yeah. You want to get into real internal Liberian political stuff now.
I mean, there's got to be some great story
It's
there.
insane.
So what exactly happened?
So here's what happened. You guys really want to hear this?
Yeah.
After 12 years in power, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, you know, they're we're term limited. So her vice president, Joseph Boakai, was running for president to succeed her. And so is George Weah again, and so were a bunch of other people. And Ellen Johnson Sirleaf is a member of the Unity Party, and she initially started out supporting her vice president. He, as many people know, after 12, this is the case here in the US as well, after a long period in power, a lot of people were sick of her. It was like, we need a change, so when Boakai started his run, he started distancing himself from the president. And his big slogan that he told everybody was how he had been a race car that had been kept in the garage for 12 years, but now he's ready to go. And so this went on, and there were all these accusations from people within the Unity Party who supported Boakai, who said that Ellen wasn't campaigning for him with enough vigor. And she said, I'm not campaigning for him with a lot of vigor because he's distancing himself from me. So I'm not going to campaign for him with a lot of vigor until, you know, he actually stops and admits to everybody he's been part of this government and blah, 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 all this stuff we've done. And eventually the Unity Party got angry, and this was part of his, I want to be seen as far away from her as possible while I run my campaign. And so he got the Unity Party to expel her from the party that she had led to victory for 2 years, and they proceeded to go then and lose. You're really getting deep into Liberia. I'm impressed that when I went back to Liberia to cover the elections, I was like, how did I even begin to write a 1,000-word New York Times story about this? Because it was like, and it was just completely, and I got to the point where I tried to boil it down into 2 paragraphs, and it still was, it's really complicated. And what I've given you just now is the very surface level.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that.